Hello and welcome to this episode. Today I'm giving my friend's CB125F some TLC after it failed its annual safety inspection. It failed on a worn drive chain and advised on a broken brake lever. And in this video you're going to change these items with me. I'm also going to be changing the engine oil. Right, here are all the new parts I'm fitting today. Nice and shiny. First thing we are going to do is remove the old chain. Grab some pliers and squeeze the horseshoe clip out as shown. It can be a little tricky. Use some WD-40 if required. Here is the horseshoe clip I'm referring to. Now slide the quick link out and remove the chain. This is the quick link setup that I referred to earlier. Lay the new chain next to the old chain and make sure it has the same amount of links. Now loosen the rear wheel nut, but don't remove the wheel just yet. Remove the rear brake lever arm pinch bolt as shown. Now slide out the arm. Remove the brake stabilizer rod bolt. There will be a small split pin you need to remove first. Grab some pliers and remove as shown. If you can straighten it and reuse again, all well and good, but you might need to buy another one. Now slide out the rear axle and remove the rear wheel. Take note of where the wheel spacers go. Now let's remove the front sprocket. Put the bike in gear to stop the sprocket from spinning. Remove these two bolts. Turn the locking plate clockwise and slide it out. Give the sprocket some gentle persuasion and it will slide off. Right, let's remove the rear sprocket. Give the wrench a sharp tap to shock the locking nut as shown. Make sure the old one is the same as the new one. Tighten these to 64 Newton meters. You will not need to use Loctite here because on this model we have reusable locking nuts. Now install the front sprocket as shown. Give it a clean, why don't you? This is a brake cleaner that I'm using. Now compare the old and the new and reinstall in the reverse order as shown earlier. The two bolts are only tightened to 12 Newton meters. They're not that tight, so don't overdo it here. Right, let's put this all back together. Slide the axle pin through, making sure all the spacers are in the right place from when you remove them. Don't tighten the axle just yet. Reinstall the brake stabilizer arm. Tighten to 22 Newton meters. It's important you put the split pin back on here. If you cannot reuse the old one, you will need to buy a new one, as this will fail the inspection if not installed. Slide on the brake pivot arm and tighten to 10 Newton meters. Test the rear brake functions as before. Loosen the chain adjuster arms back as shown. Slide the new chain on to the sprockets. Install the quick link and slide it on with pliers. It's very important to install the closed end facing the direction of rotation, as shown here in this picture. Get the chain to the correct tension. Use the lines on the swing arm to make sure they are both even. Now put a cloth in the chain and pinch it. This will pull the rear adjusters nice and tight. Now tighten the rear axle to 88 Nm. Lube the new chain with oil. I use this gearbox oil and it works a treat. Check chain tension is per user manual. Reinstall the front sprocket cover and tighten the bolts to 8 Nm. Now tighten up the rear adjusters with 2 spanners as shown. Right, I'm going to replace the front brake lever. You may notice the engine is running. I want it warm so the engine oil is nice and thin, making it more efficient to dump out. Tighten the pivot bolt on the lever to 8 Nm. Turn off the engine and use a suitable drain bowl. Remove the sump plug. Swap the washer around 180 degrees so you can reuse this again. Remove the oil filler cap and allow it to drain for 10 minutes. Now reinstall the sump bolt and tighten this to 22 Nm. This bike holds just under 1 litre of engine oil. Put in 750 ml, then reinstall the filler cap and start the engine for 30 seconds. Turn off the engine, wait 30 seconds and recheck the oil. It's very important when you are checking the oil to not screw the cap all the way in. Just touch the top and check. Check the engine oil level and add the rest of the oil. Keep checking the dipstick to make sure it's not going over the max mark as shown. While you are there, you may as well check the tyre pressures. Right, that is the end of the video. Hope you have found this useful. If you have, give me a good thumbs up. Until then, I've been Nick and I'll catch you on the next episode. Ride safe.